morning, good morning, good morning. Today we're talking about expect the best and prepare for the worst. And I'm gonna just carry on from yesterday. So yesterday I was doing the live in the morning sun at 7:30 Hawaii time with my iPad, and halfway through my live, my iPad just overheated and locked up. So I went and put it in the freezer, which didn't help for a while. Took a while. Hello, Steve. Hello, Debbie. So I thought I would continue on from yesterday. Yesterday, somebody asked me the question, I don't know, how do we find people to talk to for business development, no matter what we're selling? And so I was talking about, well, just go to your phone, right? And look at the number of contacts in your phone, which there's a number at the very bottom after all of your contacts. It tells you how many you have. And then I asked the question, how many of those people have you asked to look at your product or your opportunity or your real estate or your mortgages or your cars or whatever you're selling? How many of those people have you asked to look at what you're doing in the last 6 months? And the answer is going to be, if you have 500 people in your phone, there's 400 of them that you haven't talked to. And so word of mouth is still the best way to market anything, no matter what you're doing. And so if you want to market to people, the best people to market to are people that are in your phone, because you're connected to them. They know you. And if you find somebody in your phone, like I talked about yesterday, that you don't know, it's a great excuse to call them up or text them and say, hey, you're in my phone. Who are you? And start a conversation, right? Today, I'll probably be talking about some of that today at, I don't know, somebody will drop a link in the comments. Today, I'm being interviewed by Tom Chenault and Contact Mapping, which is a phenomenal app for keeping track of the people you talk to and what kind of conversations you have and what you learn about them, and an app that you can go back to remind you to talk to people later. And so that'll be a fun interview if you're into new business development, and it's probably more about network marketing than anything else, but it's open to everybody, the Tom Chenault Home Business Radio Show. But today what I want to do is kind of finish my thought about where I was yesterday, which is, I titled this, Expect the Best and Prepare for the Worst. And one of the things that I find really locks up entrepreneurs that are charged with business development is this idea that they expect the best, but they don't prepare for the worst. And in the sense of prospecting people or connecting with people or inviting people, it doesn't matter what you're selling, right? Let's say you're selling real estate, and what you're looking for is new clients who might want to list their house. Well, how many people do you think you have to talk to before you find somebody who's actually ready to list their house? How many? Probably 10, 15, 20, maybe 30 people before you find one person who's ready to list their house. Maybe you're selling mortgages. How many people do you think you have to call? I'm not suggesting that's how you develop business as a mortgage broker. You probably, the people you're probably going to call are realtors, right? So how many realtors do you think you have to call before you have one of them who's open to adding a new mortgage broker to their portfolio? Because they probably already have one, or two or three. So how many do you think you have to call? How many do you have to romance? How many do you have to connect with, build a relationship with? It's not one, it's not two or three. The point is this, folks. If you're in new business development, if you're in the game of prospecting, inviting people to look at what you're doing, you have to be prepared for almost everybody's going to say no. Now, in the moment, you don't want to bring expectation energy to the conversation. You don't want to have that get you down, right? So it is a little bit of a delicate vision that you need to create to put yourself in the right state. So here's the questions and the affirmations that I create to put myself in the right state when I'm talking to somebody about taking a look at what I do. So the first thing I say to myself is, I don't know. This person could be right now ready to look at what I'm doing. This could be a perfect match. This could be a marriage made in heaven right now. What I'm offering, what they're looking for, perfect, right? So I say that to myself. I also say to myself, if not them, perhaps they know someone, right? Because everybody's, 6 degrees separated from everybody else in the world. So there are people that are ready to buy what we're selling. Maybe not the person I'm talking to, maybe somebody they know. And then I also say to myself, the odds are that they're not ready. The odds are today when I call them, right? So I've talked about this before a lot in the Authentic Networker. When you see somebody that you're going to call or connect with, you're probably thinking about them, procrastinating about them for days, maybe weeks, right? You're rehearsing it in your mind. You're thinking, oh, they'd be so great, right? And you connect with them, you call them, you message them, whatever. And what you fail to realize is they haven't been thinking about you. They're not thinking about whatever you're selling. They're not on the edge of their chair waiting for you to call, right? In fact, when you call, you catch them off guard because they're thinking about everything else. So I bake that into my expectation. Hey, remember, Richard, you're going to catch them off guard. They're not thinking about what you're thinking about. They haven't been rehearsing this for the last 2 or 3 months. They're like going down their road. They're doing what they're doing. And what you're going to do is interrupt them. And you're going to catch them by surprise. So Richard, don't be surprised if they're surprised. And how do people respond when they're surprised? All kinds of crazy ways, right? They're like, oh, right? No, whatever, right? They just, doesn't mean people wouldn't like to find a better realtor or wouldn't like to find a better mortgage or wouldn't like a new car or a new car salesperson. It doesn't mean people don't want to make extra money or find a better health product. It doesn't mean that. It just means in the moment that I call them, I'm catching them off guard. So part of what I bake in preparing for the worst is the expectation that, you know what, this person that I'm going to call is just one step, puts me one step closer to the person that says yes. So I'm flipping through the deck of cards. I'm looking for aces. There's 4 aces in every deck. I talk to 52 people. I find 4 aces. And you know what? Almost everything we're selling pretty much maps onto those ratios. So what I know is there's 4 buyers out of every 52. There's probably 4 buyers out of every 40. If I really build relationships and I'm patient with people, could be 4 buyers out of every 10 or 15 or 20. But regardless of how much relationship I have with the prospect, I could just call people I'm connected to. Now, you can't call people you don't know. You can't cold call people, and I mean, that just doesn't work. You got to talk to hundreds and hundreds of people, and then when you do find one, they're probably a lousy customer. You got to talk to people you're connected to, you have credibility with, some relationship with, like who you are in some way, shape, or form matters to them. You got to rely on the word of mouth as the #1 trusted form of marketing, which it still is. But you have to bake in the numbers. So in a deck of cards, 52 cards, I can be flipping over those cards. I don't know where the aces are. I don't know if the ace is the #1. I don't know if it's the first 4 cards. I don't know if it's evenly spaced every 13 or 14 cards. I don't know if it's the last 4 cards. And I bring that to my vision when I'm talking to people. So I'm enthusiastic. I'm positive. I have expectations that they could be the one. But I don't have it put together that they are the one. Because when you have it put together that they are the one, the odds are stacked way against you and you're going to be disappointed. And notice what happens to your psychology when you go at people that way with that kind of expectation and they say no, and then somebody else says no, and somebody else says no, and somebody else says no. And then you get all twisted up like you don't know what you're doing and this isn't working and I'm not good enough and I'm not selling the right thing, and right? And now that's baked into your vision for the next people you talk to, which probably won't be anybody. You just go into that procrastination mode. And most people that are in procrastination mode that haven't quit yet, what they do is buy more training. They just go find more training. They go get in some other program. Tell me, give me more information, more information, more information. When they don't need more information, they just need motivation. And motivation comes from having the right vision, right? So if your vision is that 1 out of 15 will, and your vision is that if I got enough ones, I get the payoffs I'm looking for, then you can create the motivation to talk to the 15, because, you know, it's kind of like an Easter egg hunt. That's another way to bake the vision in. It's an Easter egg hunt. I don't know. I don't know what's under that bush. I don't know what's under that rock. I don't know what's on that ledge. I go explore. Find out. Who are you? What's important to you? What's going on in your life? And see if they're the one. So as soon as, folks, you quit baking into the vision that they're the one, and you bake into the vision that there is a one, but they're mixed into a bundle, until you do that, you're not going to have the motivation to be consistent in talking to people. But as soon as you bake in the right vision, talking to people is easy and fun. Easter egg hunt. And if that has value, share it. Daily dose of salt. See you tomorrow.